What is your favorite Final Fantasy game? That's a question a lot of us are asked when we get together in a group of Final Fantasy fans. And the chances are there's not another Final Fantasy like the one that they say. Okay, there's not another one like 10, there's not another one like 8, which is a little bit okay, but at the same time, I wanted to discuss in this video how I think Square Enix should add on to their games and continuously add on to their games, making them enjoyable to rebuy because they come to a lot of consoles. And if there is new content added to those games, I think the replay value would
That was
change.
close.
So I'll discuss some of that in the other remasters of Final Fantasy 1 through 9, and I'll touch up on the Iblis Chronicles and the Zodiac Age in the end. But for right now, we're just going to hope that
Just you and me.
the Lightning trilogy comes to the PS5, and I do mean the trilogy of Lightning because Final Fantasy 13 is just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to Claire Farron's story. I hope they don't make it too easy on us, but in this video we'll just discuss what I think Final Fantasy do. And I do love the games. I buy them all, so Square Enix, I've given you my money. Please just hear me out on some of the ideas that I'm throwing out because as a fan, this is what I think could help. Um, First thing we'll just discuss is in Final Fantasy 1, we get these following boosts. And it's not bad. Uh, you can turn encounters on and off, experience and gil times 4. You get pretty much the same thing in 2 and 3, but other boosts are added for those games, which in reality just makes the gameplay shorter. Why aren't people playing your games? Well, you made it 4 times faster for them to finish any goal that they went to go get. So that's a big thing. Like, for instance, in Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls, the extra content was, and this is a screenshot, Soul of Chaos, new dungeons. We could have gone with the gameplay changes, and we had the bestiary features in the Pixel remasters, but in the complete collection, we had like 10 party members that we could max stat and level up at the end of the game. It wasn't just stuck with the 5. Um, and this added good for grinders like me who like to go back to Final Fantasies and continuously play over and over again. Because I'm never really done. I want more like DLCs and stuff. But yeah, that's another story. But here's the boost in Final Fantasy 4 and 5, and then we have uh, the Game Boy Advance version of Final Fantasy 5 had advanced jobs, which were not in the Pixel remasters. Again, another sad story. I don't know why Square Enix didn't add them, and we might be looking at Final Fantasy 6. Yeah, here we got the again easier quality of life features, but then we are missing the advanced espers like Diablos. And maybe that's just what like the PS6 is going to do is bring like in more into these titles. And I really hope they do because I've never really been able to play the advanced versions of the Final Fantasies. But in Final Fantasy 7, you have infinite HP, infinite limit. You have no encounters, 3 times speed. I'm pretty sure you got infinite MP. But we don't ever get this Sephiroth, okay? And there's rumors where we get the Masamune replica at the Gold Saucer. We get the 1/16th, but that's the scale of a person rather than 1/16 of a soldier. But we still get that stuff. And there are so many rumors from the early 2000s about this Sephiroth and Aerith little debate. And I think that Square Enix should just rip off the band-aid and give us access to it. And if they ever sell us the OG Final Fantasy VII ever again, it would just make the game worth it a little bit more. Maybe add some more dungeons to all these titles. You know, you're the creators of these games. You can do it best. And it's not out of your hands is what I'm asking. I'm just not begging. I'm kind of begging. But it's because I've lived, so many years of my life playing these games. Like in Final Fantasy VIII, uh, Laguna, Kairos, and Ward, they get dropped at the Ragnarok, and it could have, turned into this feature where I'm sure mods have done it on the PC, but they could have joined the party members and, you know, in place of any of your, Squall, Selfie, Renoa, Zell, Irvine, Quistis, any of your main party members. They have their own limit breaks, their own fighting styles, and they're not completely unplayable. So why not add them? And yeah, it's giving the fans what they want, giving you more options for why you would want to buy another version of Final Fantasy VIII. You know, it might. There are some people that would completely disagree with me on this, but nobody's been dying to get into the game and into the team more than Cypher. He goes through the whole game as your enemy. Yes, I understand this was a bit of a stretch. However, it's 2026. We don't have to follow everybody's rules. I mean, right now the rules are as is, and we're comfortable with the games. It's just sometimes it just seems like everybody that has played your game, Square Enix, has played a Final Fantasy, has a, a want for more games kind of like it. And instead of creating a game just like it, which I know is something you probably never do, but the added dungeons and extra playable characters is totally a plausible idea. And Edea, yeah, her ice strike is not that impressive as a limit break, but still a playable character, and in a true fan's eyes, she's definitely worth putting some time and effort into using if you were able to. So there's just some food for thought of some of the stuff that I think should have been in Final Fantasy VIII, and I agree with the same thing in Final Fantasy IX. People would have loved to be with Beatrix in the team, and I know the Magic Stones is a bit of a stretch on her, so I don't know how you'd handle that. But Marcus, China, and Blank, those were characters that were also, they were thieves, but yeah, it would have been nice to have them in the game. Instead, we got battle assist, max damage, high speed mode, and safe travel. Those are just the very first, because in Final Fantasy IX they go a little bit further and they add in boosts that will not allow you to earn trophies, such as master abilities, max level, and magic stones, and max gil farming. So yeah, you can't even use those without the game calling you a cheater. In the Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilist Chronicles, the Chronicles is Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy Tactics 1, 2, and maybe 3, Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Rings. We didn't even get the War of the Lions content when they came out with the Evilist Chronicles, and it's been proven by other people, game breakers, that it was in the Evilist Chronicles, they just didn't use it. So in Final Fantasy 12, you can get Trial Mode, which can give you almost every good item in the game, if not every good item in the game. So how do you feel about this list, and what do you think about this video?